the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury of Dallas County, state of Texas, duly organized at the January term AD 2021 of the 292nd Judicial District Court for said county, upon its oath, do present in and to said court at said term that Darrin Lopez, hereinafter called defendant, on or about the 9th day of October 2020, in the county of Dallas, state of Texas, did unlawfully then and there, intentionally and knowingly, cause the death of James Faith, an individual, hereinafter called deceased, by shooting deceased with a firearm, a deadly weapon. And further, did unlawfully then and there intend to cause serious bodily injury to James Faith, hereinafter called deceased, and did then and there commit an act clearly dangerous to human life, to wit, by shooting deceased with a firearm, a deadly weapon, and did thereby cause the death of James Faith, an individual, against the peace and dignity of the state. Signed, the foreman of the grand jury.
Thank you, Ms. Mitchell. Mr. Sanchez, how does your client plead, guilty or not guilty?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, not guilty.
Thank you all very much. You may be seated. The court will recognize the Honorable Brandy Mitchell on behalf of the state. You may proceed whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Counsel, co-counsel. Darrin Lopez met Jennifer Faith over 30 years ago. They went to high school together in Tucson, Arizona. They dated, they fell in love, they went to prom together, they even went to Europe on a school band trip together. But as life happens, their lives moved on separately. Darrin Lopez went into the Army after high school, where he trained and learned and focused himself to become a member of the Special Forces. He was good at it. He was a medic, and he was trained to be a medic, and he was trained in intelligence and intel gathering and interrogations and everything you think of in the Special Forces that is needed for successful missions. And he did do those missions. He went on several combat missions. In fact, he and his team were injured in a mission around 2005 overseas by a car bomb explosion. He continues in the military after that. That was around 2005. During this time, he meets and marries Rebecca Lopez, has 2 stepdaughters, and then he has 3 more children with Rebecca Lopez after that. And they live in Tennessee while he's in the military, and then when he retires in the military around 2013, they continue to live in Tennessee, about an hour outside of Nashville. Meanwhile, Jennifer Faith has gone off to college, married, had a child named Amber. That marriage ended, and at some point later, Jennifer Faith meets James Faith through a man named Jeremy Gebler. This is around 2005. They marry in 2012. They are living in Phoenix, Arizona at the time. After they get married, around 2017, they move to Dallas, Texas, in the Oak Cliff area of Dallas, where Jamie Faith has been moved with his job at American Airlines, a high-end IT managing director job. He has moved here to be at the headquarters of American Airlines. All right, so Jennifer Faith and James Faith are married, living in Dallas. Darrin Lopez is living in Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee, outside of Nashville. Around January of 2020, Darrin, who is now separated from his wife, Rebecca Lopez, starts looking for his long-lost love, Jennifer Faith. He reaches out and he finally connects with her via the internet around March 17th of 2020, via LinkedIn. He sends her a message, and at first she is a little startled and a little wary, but then he uses a nickname that he used for her in high school to make her feel more at ease and that it was him, Angel. They then swap emails and they swap phone numbers, and they start communicating almost immediately. A lot of communication. Darrin is pursuing Jennifer Faith, and you will see these emails and the texts that are left. He is pursuing her. He wants her to come visit him. He wants to make passionate love to her, knowing she's married, and he wants her and him to eventually be together. These texts, emails get increasingly sexual in nature, and increasingly violent in nature, and increasingly graphic in nature. They are playing out fantasies. They are playing out sexual fantasies back and forth with each other. And part of the sexual fantasy and part of the fantasy, as part of it, Jennifer Faith does indeed create 2 fake email accounts. One of her husband, Jamie Faith, and the second one of a good friend of hers and co-worker, Rob Schmidt, who she's known for a long time. Darrin, these James Faith and Rob Schmidt have no idea that these fake emails have been created. No idea at all. The communication is between Jennifer Faith and Darrin Lopez. Between them, and then going in between these fake email accounts. And these fantasies continue, and the role-playing continues. And you're going to see these fake emails, as well as the other ones, and you're going to see the abuse and the sexual nature that is alleged in these emails. But ladies and gentlemen, abuse became the fantasy. And they played it out over and over and over again, from late March, early April, all the way to October 8th, where their communication, normally dramatically high, decreases and almost stops abruptly on October 8th of 2020. And that is when Darrin Lopez drives from Cumberland Furnace, Tennessee, to Dallas, Texas, to Oak Cliff, around an 11-hour drive, 10, 11-hour drive, all through the night. He takes his Smith & Wesson, his handgun with him. He drives through the night. He makes it to Waverly Place, the street that they live on in Oak Cliff, around 2:30 in the morning. He lays in wait outside of her house and next to the house next door. And he just waits and creeps around and waits and waits for 5 hours until at 7:30 in the morning, James Faith and Jennifer Faith leave to walk their dog like they normally do. They take a left, which is what they normally do, and before James Faith can get down, not even a block, heck, not even one house, he is in front of their next door neighbor's house. He is ambushed by Darrin Lopez. Completely ambushed. He is shot 7 times and left dead on that street. He makes a show then of doing some duct tape on Jennifer Faith's hands to make it look like some sort of robbery. And then he takes off back in his truck and drives straight back to Tennessee, where their communication starts up again. And the nature of their communication becomes sexual and graphic, and it starts up again all the way up until his arrest. Ladies and gentlemen, the abuse was the fantasy. They played this out through calls, phone, text, emails. They were role-playing. They were enjoying it. It was all part of the fantasy. The violent, graphic nature of this was part of it. And it is that violent part that led Darrin Lopez to drive from Tennessee to Texas through the night, ambush, and kill Jamie Faith. Without any reason, without any explanation, without any basis, except to be with Jennifer Faith. Ladies and gentlemen, there's but one victim in this case, and his name is James Faith.